Hey guys, Gary J here. We're going to be throwing these 3 boomerangs today. Now these are actually small boomerangs, very small compared to the average size one. And the unique thing here, we got the one at the top here, white and yellow. That's a plastic boomerang called Bambino by Carroll, who is an Australian boomerang maker and a really great boomerang maker. I've got a couple of YouTube videos on his MTA, Carroll's MTA called Oxygen, which flies tremendously well. That's the maximum time of loss boomerang. This one down here is plastic, and it's very unique in its color, and it's made by a fellow named Kalamason, I think his last name is, and it's made in 1990, and it throws real well. And the one in the middle with the red tips here in the wood is by Risher, who makes some great boomerangs. And all of these boomerangs, I can tell you, when I first threw them, they went straight out in a straight line almost, and they didn't turn. Well, knowing the names of some of these people here, I know that they make a good quality boomerang. And when you look at the boomerang, and it has a natural boomerang shape that you're kind of familiar with, like this is a V style, and then you turn it and look at the airfoils on it, and they look like they're correct, then it can only be one thing wrong with it if it's not turning, and that is it's not tuned. It's got detuned. And since this was 1990, about 14 years ago, if you store them with other boomerangs on top of them, then sometimes they get flat or warped a little bit. Now this one was just flat, and so were the other two. They were just really flat as a pancake. So when you get boomerangs that are flat as a pancake, a lot of times they're not going to turn unless you take the ends of them and put a little bit of positive dihedral, bend up that tip a little bit, and usually about from where my thumb is here, I'll bend the tip up slightly and get that to stay. Sometimes you got to heat this up to get it to stay. And you try the lead arm first, which would be this arm here. And if that doesn't make it turn, then you put some in the dingle arm, this arm up here on the trailing arm, and that should turn when you throw it out. So a lot of times what's kind of depressing for people who would be boomerang throwers, they go out and they buy a cheap boomerang and they take it and they throw it and it won't come back. And there's one of 3 things that cause that. One is that they don't know how to throw it correctly. 2, the boomerang may be not tuned at all, and you have to know how to tune it a little bit and put positive dihedral on the tips of it, and then throw it correctly, and it'll return. Or sometimes it may be what we call a souvenir boomerang. Some of the souvenir boomerangs are never meant to be thrown. They are just for looks, and they're so light. Some of them are. I have some that are so light that you can't throw them in a 1 mile per hour wind. The wind just takes them off. And so they were never made to be thrown anyway, and they're usually kind of cheap. So if you look at the boomerang itself and the design is comparable with a new design or one that you know exists, and the airfoils are cut similar to the airfoils of a decent boomerang, it should throw and return. And you may just have to tweak it, give it some positive or negative dihedral in the limbs of it. But usually those are the 3 reasons. 1 is out of tune. 2, you're not throwing it correctly. 3, it's just a cheap boomerang and wasn't meant to be thrown. But tweaking these 3, they come back perfectly now. And that's the beauty of throwing boomerangs, is figuring them out. And it doesn't take that long to do so. Okay guys, let's see how they do. When the boomerang is out of tune, this is how they throw. Now normally, we would expect them to go out, come around, and come back to you. But when they're out of tune, they throw straight, kind of like this right here. You see how that went? It just went straight out, didn't turn, didn't do anything. When they do that, that means they're out of tune, need positive dihedral, 1 or 2 of the wings on the end of it. And so when you see that, they think, well, I just need to put that positive hedral in the ends of it. One, two, three. Ooh, there. 2, 3. Ooh, got it. 3. Ooh, got her. 2, 3. Ooh, got it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, right back to us. 1, 2, 3. Another good catch. The hover's pretty. You know, 1, 2, 3. Let's come it around good. Right on our feet. 1, 2, 3. Good catch. 1, 2, 3. Oh, mister. 2, 3. Oh, got her. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, good catch. This is the lead arm. I put a little bit of negative hedral because she was kind of going out and then way up too high. So a little negative hedral on the lead arm. And 1, 2, 3. Ooh, got it. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, good catch. 1, 2. Ooh, another good catch. We got 1, 2, 3. Ooh, got it. Man, that was a perfect throw there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was close. 2, 3. Ooh, got it. 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, I want to mention something about positive dihedral. Now, positive dihedral is when you have a boomerang and you want to put lift on it. Like this is a plastic boomerang. If I bend this end up right here, that's positive. If I bend it down, that's negative dihedral. Okay. Most time, if your boomerang is flat as a pancake, you're going to need positive dihedral. And the easy way to do that is, like in this case here, if you put a weight like a book across here, a heavy book, you may put 5 or 6 books or something really heavy across here, and have this on a flat wooden table, and put something heavy here to hold that down. And then what I do, I take like a roll of quarters, and I'll take like maybe 4 or 5 quarters and put it underneath here. Okay, and I'll do that the same on both sides. But I've got a heavy weight here, maybe something that weighs 10 pounds. And once you put your quarters underneath here, say 5 quarters or something like that, this end will bend up, and you got your weight here. You can take a hairdryer and heat this up right here, and this is like 12-ply wood right here, and it's got glue in it, and it'll loosen up that glue, and this wood will get really hot. And when you do that, it'll bend with the quarters underneath it, and you just let it set for about an hour until it cools down naturally or so, and it should leave the positive dihedral in the end of it when you take it out. And then you can throw it and see how that works. And you may have to adjust it a little bit, but don't mess with the elbow. Keep the elbow flat always, and just elevate this part right here on both ends. And you're just doing that by putting again like 4 or 5 quarters underneath the tips of them. Some boomerangs you may have to do it more, some less, so you kind of have to play with that and tweak it. But that'll give you just a little idea, and that makes all the difference in the world whether they will return or not sometimes. And then there's what we call angle of attack, and that's another story. But hopefully that helps you. That's what I had to do to all 3 of these to make them return, is just put the positive dihedral and tweak it just a little bit. Okay, thanks guys, take care.